Okay,
method?
well, it's the three bucket method of asset protection. I stole the three bucket method idea from scouting, so all you scouters out there, know where I got it from. But basically, it is a way of evaluating risks in a person's portfolio. Okay, now everything you own is part of your portfolio. So, you start off with your operating business. Okay, that is the highest level of risk, because in that business you've got employees, you've got equipment, you've got contracts, you've got all kinds of things that can go wrong that are not in your personal control. And so you may wind up in a situation where your employee went to go grab lunch for the staff and was in a car accident.
Right.
Okay, and then they get a TV attorney to represent them, and now your business is pulled into this.
I'm the Texas Hammer. Yeah.
So now you've got a situation where your business is on the hook. Now, if you haven't set up an LLC or a corporation, you haven't set up a business entity to protect you from your business, guess what? That thing's going to follow you until they get everything.
Right.
Okay. Or you declare bankruptcy. And nobody really wants to do that.
Right.
So when you separate that first bucket, you've got the moving parts. That's what I call the moving parts bucket. And here you can have different types of businesses, different layers of businesses, and different entities. So you want to separate those from each other. Okay. The second bucket is what I call the dirt bucket. Okay. And like the name says, it's real estate. Okay. And so in here, my recommendation and what I like to do is not have more than $500,000 in aggregate value. So if you have multiple casitas that you are renting out, you don't want to have more than $500,000. Okay. Of value, or a single property in one LLC.
What happens if I go outside of the 500, and why only 500?
Okay, 500 is because that's all I'm willing to bet on black. That's all. I mean, I'm not willing to put, because the misunderstanding people have about how LLCs work and business entities work for asset protection is they protect you from, you as the owner, they protect you from what happens inside. So if in the real estate, let's say you have a little rental house that's worth $50,000 and you have $1 million ranch. Okay. And you put them both in the same LLC because you say, well, I don't want to spend more money on two LLCs.
Correct.
Okay. Well, the little house burns down, somebody gets hurt, they sue you. You say, hey, well, I did an LLC, so I know I'm not going to be personally liable. Okay, but the LLC is liable. And what does the LLC own?
The ranch.
$1 million ranch.
Right.
So guess what? That ranch is going to go to that attorney, and they're going to
they're going to be solved.
Yeah. Right. So you're going to lose what's in there. So if you just had, let's say, 3 little houses there, and then you have your ranch in a separate LLC, if you have that same situation happen, your ranch is protected because it's separate from everything.
And the funny thing is that nobody thinks about that, man. We don't think about that enough. We don't think about liabilities, and we think, oh, that's not going to happen to me. And then when you start getting into the meat and potatoes of assets, and as a sole proprietor, corporation, LLCs, all of these partnerships, all of these things are super important questions that people just don't. I've talked to a lot of people here locally, and it's just like nobody ever talks about liability.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're bringing it up, because, man, it's something you really need to think about, because something happens. You're right. You have an employee. They're in the company car.
Yeah.
They crash. They hit somebody. Now your business is on the line.
Yeah. And so those are the big, the 2 big risks.
Okay. And
now the third bucket is what I call the paper bucket. Okay. So the paper bucket is where you have your excess cash, you have your non-retirement stock and bond accounts, and where you would hold the shares of these other companies. Okay. So I know what you're thinking, Mike. You just told me that everything has to be separate, and now you're putting everything together.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's go revisit the protection that the entities give you. Okay. So we're talking about the inside risk. Now that's the risk that happens when something happens inside the business, your employees, the property damage, whatever is inside. And so that risk can hurt you. In the paper bucket, we eliminated that risk. Because it's really it doesn't